This story begins with a couple named Mason and Amelia aboard their private jet heading to an extravagant party. Upon arrival, they immerse themselves in the lavish atmosphere, enjoying the event alongside other elite guests. Among them was Perez, the wealthiest person there and the host of the party. During their conversation, Mason mentioned his passion for cars and his extensive collection. Perez, equally enthusiastic about automobiles, eagerly led them to his private garage to showcase his prized vehicles. The highlight of his collection was a car worth $200 million, a masterpiece that left Mason and Amelia visibly impressed. They expressed a desire to sit inside, and Perez, pleased with their admiration, allowed them to do so. The moment they settled into the luxurious interior, Amelia discreetly signaled a hacker named Link. Within seconds, all the lights in the garage shut off, plunging the space into darkness. Taking advantage of the confusion, Mason's team launched their attack, swiftly subduing Perez. Without hesitation, Mason started the car and sped away, executing the plan flawlessly. It was then revealed that Mason and Amelia were professional thieves, attending the party solely to steal this valuable car. The vehicle was loaded into a massive truck, and their escape was underway. However, before they could leave the country, flashing sirens and a fleet of FBI vehicles appeared in pursuit. Mason was caught off guard. How had the FBI discovered their plan? The answer came instantly as Amelia turned to him, aiming a gun at his chest. In a stunning betrayal, it was revealed that she had never been his partner in crime, but an undercover FBI agent who had infiltrated his life to catch him in the act. Mason, genuinely in love with Amelia, was devastated. Yet, knowing that capture was not an option, he quickly ordered his team to initiate Plan B. Following his command, they dumped all their stolen cars into the river, destroying any evidence. Though they failed to secure the car, they managed to escape the FBI's grasp. 3 months later, Mason had abandoned his criminal life and retreated to a quiet existence outside the city. One day, his younger brother Shawn arrived with a new proposition: a high-stakes bank robbery. He wanted Mason's expertise, but Mason had no interest in returning to a life of crime. Despite Shawn's persistent attempts to persuade him, Mason refused and was handed a phone just in case he changed his mind. Days passed without Mason reconsidering his decision. On the day of the heist, a call from Link shattered his peace. She demanded to know why he was late. Confused and frustrated, Mason realized Shawn had lied to the team, claiming Mason was part of the plan. Understanding the danger ahead, he had no choice but to involve himself in the operation. Meanwhile, Shawn was stationed at a nearby coffee shop, waiting for the bank manager, who followed a strict daily routine. As soon as the manager arrived, Shawn approached him, pulled out a gun, and took him hostage. His plan was to lead the manager inside and force him to open the bank's vault. Just before they reached the entrance, Mason appeared, blocking their path. Realizing that the robbery was already in motion and his team had infiltrated the bank disguised as customers, Mason reluctantly entered the building. Inside, the team was positioned strategically, blending in with the crowd. Shawn wasted no time and ordered the manager to open the vault. However, instead of complying, the manager triggered the bank's security alarm. Instantly, chaos erupted. Security guards reacted swiftly, engaging in a shootout with the robbers. Mason's team, well prepared, overpowered them and took control, forcing the remaining bank customers into submission. As Mason assessed the situation, he demanded to know the true objective of the heist. Shawn revealed that their target was a specific locker belonging to a woman named Isabel Farrow. Inside it was a hard drive containing millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. With the bank manager in tow, Mason made his way to the vault, only to discover a significant flaw in Shawn's plan. The locker required 2 keys, one in the manager's possession and the other with Isabel Farrow herself. Without both, the locker remained sealed. Realizing Shawn had led them into the robbery without all the necessary details, Mason was furious. Determined to salvage the mission, he ordered Link to bypass the security system and hack the locker. Within minutes, Link succeeded, and the locker was finally opened. But instead of the expected hard drive, they found an empty decoy box. The manager smirked, revealing that even he had no knowledge of the real location of the drive. Outside, the situation intensified as the FBI arrived in full force. Leading the operation was none other than Amelia, Mason's former lover. With the bank surrounded, she established contact with the team. Link attempted to stall her with distractions, but Amelia was well aware of their tactics and insisted on speaking directly to Mason. Mason, now aware of Amelia's presence, prepared himself for a tense negotiation. Suppressing the emotions tied to their past, he remained focused. He demanded that the FBI withdraw their forces 50 feet away from the bank, or he would start executing hostages. To further manipulate the situation, he added an unusual request: pizza and beer, delivered by Amelia herself. Amelia agreed to the demand, but, in return, asked Mason to release 2 hostages. Mason accepted the deal without any hesitation. Following this, Mason's team moved all the hostages to an upper hall and waited for Amelia. A while later, Amelia arrived with food and drinks and entered the bank. When Mason saw her, he was happy and started flirting with her, but Amelia ignored his advances and ordered him to surrender. Mason outright refused and sent Amelia back outside. After that, Mason fed his team and, as promised, released 2 hostages. But then, something happened that no one expected. The bank manager attacked Shawn, grabbed his gun, and tried to escape. Seeing this, Mason immediately ran after him. After a long chase, Mason finally caught the manager. He then interrogated him to extract information about Isabel Farrow. The manager revealed that Isabel Farrow was the wife of the country's most dangerous gangster, Abel. He further explained that Abel was extremely powerful and had the support of the country's top politicians. The hard drive likely contained evidence of the corrupt dealings of those politicians. If that evidence were exposed, it could bring down the government. Despite knowing all this, Mason decided to steal the hard drive so he could use it to blackmail the government and secure his escape from the bank. Meanwhile, outside the bank, a car pulled up, and inside was none other than Abel's lawyer. The lawyer ordered Amelia, "If your team doesn't capture the robbers within the next hour, the US Army will storm the bank." Amelia was confused about who this man was. She contacted her supervisor, who told her that the man's name was Alex and that he was Abel's lawyer. Her supervisor further explained that Abel had the backing of the most powerful politicians in the country, which meant the FBI couldn't do anything against him. He instructed Amelia, "Get those robbers out of the bank as soon as possible, because if the US Army enters, not only will the robbers be killed, but many hostages will die as well." Meanwhile, Mason and his team started breaking through the locker room wall, hoping that the bank had hidden Isabel Farrow's vault in a secret room. However, every time they broke one wall, another appeared in its place. On the other hand, the US Army had surrounded the bank from all sides and was preparing to break in. Seeing this, Amelia called Mason and urged him to surrender, warning that if the US Army entered the bank, the thieves would be as good as dead. Mason, however, told Amelia to leak the news to the media that the US Army was about to attack the bank. His plan was that once the media arrived, the Army wouldn't be able to take action. Amelia did exactly as he suggested, and soon the media gathered outside the bank. The news spread like wildfire across the country. Seeing this, the head of the FBI was furious and removed Amelia from the case. Then, he called Mason, threatening him that if his team didn't surrender within 15 minutes, the Army would storm the bank. Inside the bank, Mason's team finally found the room containing Isabel's locker. Mason ordered Link to hack the locker and bypass the password. However, Link warned that the locker's security was extremely strong and would take at least 10 minutes to crack, while the Army would breach the bank in just 8 minutes. Realizing the time crunch, Mason devised a plan. He started releasing hostages one by one to buy Link more time to unlock the locker. Within minutes, all the hostages were freed, and finally, after releasing the manager, Mason's team members began surrendering one by one. While everyone else exited the bank, Mason and Link remained inside. Seeing this, the FBI chief lost his temper and ordered the Army to enter and shoot Mason on sight. Upon receiving orders, the US Army stormed into the bank, searching for Mason like bloodhounds. When they finally reached the vault room, they found Mason waiting for them, holding a bomb. Before they could react, an explosion occurred, killing Mason and all the soldiers inside. Thus, due to Shawn's poor planning, Mason lost his life. But if you think that's the end of the story, wait, because a major twist is coming. A few months later, Amelia resigned from the FBI because she didn't want to work with corrupt officials. After her resignation, she went on vacation to a private island where Mason was already waiting for her. Here, the truth was revealed. Mason and Amelia had been on the same team from the very beginning. They had deliberately failed the car heist in Paris to gain the FBI's trust in Amelia. The story then flashes back to the moments before the explosion. When the U.S. Army entered the bank, Mason made one demand: to meet Abel's lawyer, Alex. The Army had no choice but to comply, as Mason still held all the crucial evidence. When Alex arrived, Mason threatened him, saying that unless he transferred $500 million into his account, he would release the evidence publicly. Additionally, he demanded new identities for himself and his team so they could start fresh lives under different names. Since Abel's fate was in Mason's hands, Alex agreed to all of his demands. Then, a fake explosion was staged, making everyone believe Mason had died. Meanwhile, Mason and Amelia abandoned their criminal past and began a new life under new identities. I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a sweet comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.